on sustainability, marketing, and credibility. Before presenting David Ehrman, our speaker, please pay attention to some recommendations that we have been given to get the best of the sessions for all of you. Remember to have microphones off to avoid external noises. I think this has been automatically done. Feel free to type any questions in the chat. This would be very interesting to have your opinions. And also, if you have any comments or notes, please raise the virtual hand and we will allow you to speak. Please remind that there will not be any translation in this breakout room. So if you are unable to make your intervention in English, please send your questions to the chat in your language and we will try to help you. Therefore, I am not able to translate from Arabic, so any assistance in this case would be appreciated. And remind that the session will last 35 minutes. Therefore, we would be grateful if you could keep interventions short and focused on the topics. So welcome, David Ehrman from New Zealand. It's quite late in New Zealand by now. So David is the Managing Director of Destination Capacity. It's a consultancy specializing in tourism development, strategy, and sustainability projects internationally. He's a trainer for the GSTC, so the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, and a regular presenter at tourism industry events. So thanks, David, and thanks to everybody to participate.
Yeah, thank you very much for the introduction, Inma, and welcome to you all. Inma, if you could give me co-hosting rights so I can share my screen.
Yes, I think you can do it already. So the share screen here down, the green.
No, it's telling me that it's disabled for my.
It is disabled. Let me see.
Yep. But anyway, while we get that organized, welcome everybody. And I hope you watched all the great presentations from the Medusa project countries. A lot of very inspirational videos there and a lot of great examples of what the project teams have already done in this first part of the project. Thank you for joining this session today. I think some of the things that we will talk about here apply to all of the countries, because most of adventure tourism takes part in nature. So I guess the environmental part of sustainability is always very essential, but especially at the moment, social sustainability, looking after our communities, and also trying to work towards economic sustainability, obviously, are very important. So we need to work on all of these different pillars in order to get tourism back on track and hopefully take some lessons from this pandemic as we move forward. So just waiting here that I can share my screen. I just have a couple of.
I have the same problem. I've informed it will be done in very soon.
Okay. I can do the presentation, or I can just tell you what I wanted to talk about. There's basically, we believe in general that sustainable travel will actually be more popular after COVID. For one reason, people want to get out, they want to get away from the crowds, and they actually want to go explore and appreciate nature again once they're able to travel. And in all the countries that I've worked in over the last years, both businesses and destinations are using this current downtime to really try and build back better.
Sorry, David, I think you can now. Otherwise,
Yes.
I could.
Yep, here we go.
Yeah, all right.
Very good. Okay. So as I was saying, basically, sustainable travel will be more popular after COVID. That's where the trends seem to be going. So people looking for sustainability as one of the reasons they choose certain trips or certain destinations, in addition to safety and price, of course, and air access at the moment. Businesses and destinations are building back better. So okay. it's been disabled again. Sorry about that. Bit of a technical issue here. So just continuing on, sustainability marketing though, if you're going to promote yourself as a sustainable destination, you really need to be honest about this. And if you're going to say that you're sustainable, you actually also have to do sustainable things. So you have to walk the talk and you have to make sure that you stand behind this. So that's the topic for this, this session today, looking at marketing sustainability and credibility. So the goal really going forwards will be balancing sustainability and safety. And if you say that you're going to keep your guests safe and you say that you are a sustainable operator, adventure tourism operator, then you actually have to back that up somehow. So
it functions again. Sorry, David, it functions again.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know.
Yep, that works. So basically, one of the ways that we can gain this credibility when we come back, when tourism returns, is through certification. And this credible marketing is really going to be much more important in a competitive market. When people travel again, they will want to explore and they will choose their destination wisely because they might not travel as often, they might not travel as far. So there's going to be a very competitive market, and credible marketing is very important. And so if we're looking at, if you want to be a sustainable business or show off that you do sustainable things in your operations, having some sort of certification can really help your business stand out. That's where things like the certification programs that are accredited by the Global Sustainable Tourism Council help. There are certain ones that that will give you that tag and that will actually help you to stand out, because the certification creates trust with visitors that are looking for sustainable options, but also with partners. And something that we're seeing at the moment in terms of certification, that especially tour operators and cruise liners as well are asking for their value chains, so asking for their supply chains to be a lot more sustainable. So it might not even be the visitors that are asking for the certification, but it could well be the suppliers or the purchasers that are buying in hotel or other services in the source in the countries where they operate their tours. So finally, analyzing sustainable baselines through some sort of certification or audit process can really help businesses differentiate themselves and to tell good stories, right? We don't expect every business to be perfect in terms of sustainability, but if they show where they're at and that they're moving in the right direction, then you can tell really good stories about that. And since we have quite a wide range of operators in the room here today, I have some questions for you. I mean, this is not about my opinion on this. This is about yours and how you're applying this in your project. So first of all, the first question here would be, you know, what role does sustainability play in your marketing now that you're starting to think about starting back up and attracting visitors after the pandemic? So if anyone has a question, you can either type it or a comment. You can either type it, you can raise your hand, and you can then unmute yourself. So if anyone has a comment to make on this, please, now's your time. So in your operation, no matter which of the regions you're in, what role does sustainability play in your marketing? Is that something that you are promoting yourself on? Is that something that you engage your potential customers on post-pandemic?
So who is the first? I see there are a lot of Catalans here. There are some operators also, but also accommodations, destinations.
I mean, this is an easy question to start with. You can also tell me that it plays no role, and that will start off an interesting discussion. So, since everyone has their cameras off, are you actually there?
Yes, it's difficult.
Can we get a sign of life?
Are you able to unmute so everybody can open the microphone?
Someone's turned their camera off. Did you want to make a comment there?
So I think sustainability sometimes is difficult for the small companies. So which are the difficulties you think you have, no?
Sure. I mean, but you don't have to be perfect in terms of sustainability. This might just be using less water, using less electricity, and these are also things that are good for your business, right? It's not about being an angel in all areas, but just taking those small steps to become a more responsible tourism business. So
we still to see somebody with the cameras on. That's good. Marta Salame, Albert Massana. Yes. Which is your experience? Everyone.
Yeah. Sabrine, you would like to make a comment? Please feel free to unmute yourself. You wrote a comment in the chat.
Jo m'atreveixo a dir quelcom, però ho hauria de dir en català, perquè entenc l'anglès, però si tu em dones un cop de mà.
Yeah, so she says she would like to do it, but in Catalan. Is it possible to do it by writing, so then it will be easier for the rest to the people? Can you do it? Ho pots fer així curt en el chat i llavors jo ho explico.
Or could you translate, Inma?
Yes, all right. So otherwise,
yeah, that might be easier. So please ask your question in Catalan, and Inma will translate for you.
All right.
Ho faré curt. Entenc que la pregunta és quina estratègia tenim a nivell de màrqueting, no? En quant a territori. Nosaltres estem en el Penedès Turisme, per tant, és l'àrea del Penedès. Jo crec que és el que ha comentat en David, però el tema està en que per fer una estratègia de màrqueting en sostenibilitat ens cal primer tenir projectes reals de sostenibilitat. No sé si vols traduir.
Yeah. So she says to have. She's representing a small county, one of the pilot areas. And she says so that for having a global strategy for this region, they need also something stable in the territory, no? Una cosa real, so some real things in the territory.
Real projects. És un territori de paisatge de vinyes. No? Tenim un territori amable pel senderisme, pel cicloturisme, però cal una estratègia, no? D'implantar en el territori les empreses que generin producte turístic en aquest sentit. És a dir, ens cal tenir una massa crítica, no? Per poder després transmetre això. No?
All right. Yeah. So that's so the thing. So I will change a bit your explanation, but I think it's the same thing. So it's important to have a marketing strategy on sustainability for the region, but it is very important that this is done bottom up. So they cannot start from so that they have a nice vineyard landscape. It's a very nice area to walk and to ride, but it is necessary that more companies on the base are doing sustainable projects, are promoting sustainable projects and believing in sustainability.
Per tant, en aquest sentit, nosaltres estem promovent projectes reals. Per exemple, ara estem promovent...
Sí, perdona, jo crec que s'ha entès i ara poder que li deixem... No? So I think so she wanted to explain a bit more in detail, but I think this happens in many territories, I think, David, so that the region is promoting sustainability, but base from the companies is still required. So how to help them, how to help to the companies in this.
Sure. No, I think this is often a challenge, and I've had similar discussions in other places where I guess the region wants to push this as a strategy or as a direction, but the businesses need to be convinced. So it's about telling a story that will convince the businesses, because in the end, it's the operators that need to do the projects or address some of these issues. And the most common way that I've found is through the business case for sustainability. So it's not sustainability or profits, but sustainability can actually be very profitable. And especially at the moment where businesses are suffering economically because of the lockdowns and because of the lack of travel, making your business more sustainable, saving energy, saving water, and creating better systems that will help you to make your business more efficient going forward. That's actually often the angle that convinces businesses fastest. But who else in the room has an opinion on this? That's just mine. But Emma, if you would like to translate that for her, then that's
yeah. No, I think she understands. The only thing she couldn't.
Okay.
So she understands English, but it was difficult to express herself.
Okay, yeah. But my Spanish is not good, and my Catalan is.
And it was Catalan. Sorry,
worse.
yeah. If you wish, we can ask to do it in Spanish if they intervene. There is no problem.
Okay. Muchas gracias.
So we have a question here. Yeah, it's from Sabrine. Well, sustainability marketing is a great way to promote eco-friendly of our projects, and as all we know that ecology and sustainability, many people interested in it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's true, and that was one of my points. I think also to your question originally, I think if the market is more interested in sustainable products now, that will increase that business case for sustainability, because becoming a more responsible operator will actually help you promote yourself as well. So so Sabrine, I think you were asking, how can we get more people interested in this? Is that was that the question?
And are you coming from? Are you representing an official DMC, DMO, or are you representing a company? This should be also interesting to know, David.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Okay. So yeah. So how do we get more people interested? Well, I think the interest level of people to be to travel in a more eco-friendly manner, or to support eco-friendly products is more apparent than ever at the moment, post-pandemic. The question, and this is the other question that we were asked to answer in this. So I think this question: how important was it to your region's customers? How important was sustainability to your region's customers before the pandemic? That's something that's quite local. Okay, so you can't hear me, Sabrine? Okay, I'll come back to this point.
All right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Welcome. So another question we had here, and this addresses some of this as well, is from Petra. That was a direct message from the Lebanese Ministry of Tourism. Can we at some point address the marketing of a country as a whole? And I think that's actually a very interesting question, because that goes with Marta, I think your question as well. So at a regional level, you need to convince the operators. At a national level, you need to convince the regions, then the operators. So it becomes more complicated as you move through the different levels. However, all the change really starts from the grassroots. It starts bottom up. So it's more often than not about, yes, you can, Sabrine. So just to answer Petra's question there, I think looking at a country as a whole, you still need to build up that capacity at the ground level, because in the end, it's the operators that need to make those sustainable changes. At least that's what I've seen in places. Sabrine, feel free to unmute yourself if you want to ask your question.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello. Yes, we can hear you.
I'm sorry for the bad connection. I have an issue with my camera, so I don't know if you can hear me well.
Yep, can hear you great.
Okay, great. So I'm Sabrine Bakouche. I'm from Dahar destination in the south of Tunisia. So my question was, well, all of us, we know that sustainability and eco projects are trending nowadays, and it's very important to have more people interested, to attract more people in our project. So my question is how to find a real strategy of marketing, especially right now we have COVID-19, so it's make the things more complicated, you know. So how we can find a real strategy that can we work with it without having problems, especially we know that we should have digital marketing right now.
Okay, so so your question is, how do you attract more people towards your ecotourism attractions in Tunisia?
Exactly.
Okay. So I mean, I would have an opinion on that, but let's ask the other people in the room. Does anyone from one of the other regions perhaps want to share an example of how they have used marketing tools during the pandemic to attract more people to come and travel after the pandemic? Does anyone want to share an example?
I know some of them have.
That's the thing, we're trying to get some interaction going here.
Yes.
I mean, in the meantime, otherwise, Sabrine, what I have seen work best is just to tell stories. You know, tell stories of great experiences that people have had there, and people often pick up on those more than straight marketing messages. So telling stories, talking through the journeys and what people have experienced, that gives a lot more context. But maybe Anna has a comment on this. Anna, feel free to unmute yourself. You've got your hand up.
Yes. Hi.
Hello.
Hello. I tried to open the video, but I'm not sure if it works. I have some questions because sometimes I have a small company, okay, travel agency, a small company, and then the question is, I understand that you can share your stories if you are a destination, and maybe you can share the experience of the customer, no, to show the sustainability, okay. But now, after COVID, everybody will play this card. So everybody will like to play the card of sustainability. And then for a small company, for example, the idea is, okay, we have to do the marketing with this, show our projects or our activities that they are sustainable. But the question is, how the client have the difference between the companies that they are marketing this, but they are not doing this, okay, as the companies that they real do this, and they are a real mind about the sustainability. For example, we have a small hotel and we have the soap, an organic soap, yeah, an organic soap, and then we work with the local farmers, and we have solar energy, okay. But how I can market this, but that feel real? So I don't understand if you understand me. I don't know if you understand me. So how you mark this and feel real, that yeah, I do this and I aware of this and I want to be a real sustainable company. Thanks.
That's a very good question, because I think you're right. Everyone is going to try and play that card. And that's where the credibility comes in. And that's actually the third question that we had to get this discussion moving. So how do people normally back up their sustainability claims. Anyone can say they're sustainable, but how do you show your customers that you're actually sustainable? Does someone have a comment on that? Can someone help Anna with this? Who has done this in their own business? I know there's some other operators here.
Salem Nafa wanted to participate, but we cannot see raised hands, and in our place we have problems to see who is raising hands. I realized that. Salem?
So if you want to unmute yourself, Salem, you can.
Yeah.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you? I'm Salem Nafa, Public Relation and Communication in the Royal Society for the Conservation of Nature. Actually, I want to answer the first and second question together. After the pandemic is finished in June last year, we used to work with the local community and with the locals market for reserves, and because we work a lot with the local community behind the reserves. So we go with media and social media, and even we go with buses. We made a lot of marketing on the buses, on the street, even the bridges. So we go with a lot of marketing plan to work and to let everybody who can't go outside of Jordan to go inside of Jordan. And even that called the marketing and or the event, it's called Safar Jwa Baladak, Travel in Jordan. And we work a lot with TV, local channels, and even newspapers, radios, everything. So this is how we work. And this role, because the local community need to work and need to get extra money, because this is the only thing they can they get money from, or they go back to the bad images or the bad ideas they work on before behind the reserves, because we change behavior for the people who behind the reserves, from the hunter or he cutting trees to one who ranger or work in reserve. So this is what we work on.
Okay, thank you for that. So really trying to switch towards a more of a domestic market and working with your communities. I think that's a very important point, because often we talk just about ecological, environmental sustainability, but working with local communities and building that social network can also really help to support projects. So very good point there. So Marta added that responsible tourism is an important concept to add to a strategy and to put in the claims. It's a very good point. So not just sustainable, but responsible tourism. So doing the right thing, even when no one is watching, maybe. So that's a very good point. Thank you for that. Does anyone else want to would like to share any thoughts on any of this? So how do you back up your sustainability claims? And maybe the final question, because we're already moving towards 30 minutes flies if you're having fun. Have any of you thought about sustainability certification to increase the credibility of your business or your destination? There are different certification programs around that might be interesting for some of you. Anna, you've raised your hand again, because I guess this goes in your direction.
Okay, yes. Well, I think that the certifications are very good. Okay, so I think that it's an important part. I am not sure about if the customer, if the client will choose a destination or will choose a company because of the certification, but it's true that increase the credibility. The thing is, for a company, for example, is to which certification we choose, for example, because in Spain there are certifications, there are other certifications that they are European, biosphere. So I think that we have to choose to think about the client, our customer. For example, our small company, we don't have Spanish customers. We have Nordic, European customers from United States, from Canada. So we have to think about this kind of customers, not our Spanish customers, because in fact, the clients that we have, they are from Europe. So we have to think about European certifications that different countries know it. Because otherwise, if we focus only in Spanish certifications, then maybe French or German clients, they don't know it. I think that it's very important to think about your clients and the certifications that fit better for your clients.
That's a very good point. If you're going to use it in marketing to promote yourself, you need to be sure that the client or the customers actually know the certification that you are promoting yourself with. That's true. Does anyone else have any suggestions on certification? Has anyone gone through the process?
Here in Catalonia, for instance, the regional, so the provincia is promoting for the destination, but also for the supporting companies to do the certification, and it's functioning quite well. So really, the support is good, and also the economical support is also important. What do you think? Because people think this is very expensive for a small company.
Yeah, no, there are different programs in different countries and regions to support operators to become more sustainable. And I mean, for the credibility, it's important to have a label or a stamp that your customers know. But in general, going through the process of doing an audit and looking at your sustainability baseline and coming up with a plan and a strategy for how you can improve your sustainability might actually help your business anyway. Even if it doesn't help you in promoting, it helps you to be a more responsible business, as Martha pointed out, in doing the right thing, perhaps. And so you lead and you don't preach. You show people you show your visitors what the right thing is to do. So Hassan, very good question. Is there any international accredited certification measures, standard bodies for sustainable tourism? Well, yes, there are. There is something called the Global Sustainable Tourism Council, gstc.org, or gstcouncil.org, I think is the website. Otherwise, we can share it at the end of this. They set the global baseline standards for sustainable tourism together with a group of experts, and they have standards for industry, which is hotels or accommodation and tour operators, and for destinations, so at both levels. And they then accredit certifying bodies. So they make sure that the standard or certifying organizations in individual countries or working international. Yeah, thank you, Emma. So you have the link there in the chat. So you can actually download the GSTC standards for free. They're available in various languages as well, including Spanish, or I'm not sure if they've been translated into Arabic yet, but they're definitely available in English, and they're all available for free with checklists, with indicators. And that will give you a good overview of what some of these global standards are. And then you can search on the website as well for the accredited certification bodies, which are the ones that have been approved by the GSTC to certify businesses. So that comes back to Anna's comment. It's difficult to know which standards are right, but if a business is certified by an accredited certification body, then that gives you more credibility internationally. And in fact, if you look at the cruise ships, when cruise ships look to purchase accommodation products or tour operating products now, a lot of them are looking for companies that are certified with a GSTC accredited accreditation body, certification body.
So, Kayak del Ter, Kayak del Ter sent me a message in Catalan, and yeah, here there are also many companies certified or joining the European Charter for Sustainable Tourism, and this has, what do you think about? So, this is a charter for companies in near or in protected areas.
There's, yep. Does anyone? I mean, good comment there before from Salem as well, right? Salem working in protected areas. Have you come across this European Charter? Is that something that you look at when you set up the standards in Jordan as well?
Sorry, I did not hear you well. Can you please repeat the question?
Sorry, so one of the questions here was that, or one of the comments from Kayak del Ter was that for them, the European Charter for Sustainable Tourism in protected areas is quite important. So that's a European initiative. Is that something that you benchmark yourself against when you do your work in?
Yeah, you mean now or before? Now, yes, but before, when it's locked down in June 2020. No, we just work on locals. But before, yes, we have a lot of people come across the borders from outside, especially to visit Dana Biosphere Reserve or to visit Mujib Biosphere Reserve. They like to be there.
Okay, so if you have international visitors, do you also look at international standards for working in protected areas?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, but you know, we work a lot with the local community. All who work in reserve, let's say in Dana, they should be from the local community from Dana. So we train them how to work with tourism, how to work with everything. We train them to hospitality, everything.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. So I think for all of you, and to answer some of these questions, also going back to the question by where are
Natalie.
we? Yes, so various questions there. I think standards, global standards or regional standards can help you to give you a framework that you can align with. And you can look at international best practice in similar areas, similar operators, similar areas like protected areas, for example, and try to align those here. Natalie, thank you for your comment here. She works at the MEET Network. I actually used that as an example in a course just the other day, which supports the Mediterranean protected areas. So they've developed also standards specifically for ecotourism development in this context, and also some nice calculators, if I'm correct, footprint calculators. And their standards focus on ensuring that the ecotourism is low impact while being balanced. So there's a link there for you that might be useful for some of you. So thank you, Natalie, for sharing that. Did you want to make a comment to that, or have I covered it?
No, you've just about covered it. I just wanted to say, I'll just link them in the chat now, but we've also recently developed some online trainings about how to implement our model and standard, including a training on how to use the ecotourism ecological footprint calculator that MEET has developed. Obviously, it's all specifically for protected areas in a Mediterranean context, but we're also seeing examples now of how our model is being adapted in other contexts outside the Mediterranean as well. So it might be of interest to everyone here, and I'll put the links in the chat.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. And I think there's just one more example that there is a lot of very good free tools out there for sustainable tourism. So if you're interested, the Meet Network, the GSTC resources, there's also other resources around that are free and available to you. ITC, the International Trade Center, did some nice